Yeah, you are very welcome to my office. Um, I'm happy to see you again and happy to know that you're all making progress in the department. It's a pleasure that I can see you are all excited about my new promotion. And I must say that it looks like you guys are more excited than my good self. So I can only say to God be the glory. It's been long coming and it takes hard work to get to this destination. So you're very welcome and I'll be happy to spend some time with you today and so that we can deliberate on your issues and your questions for me. Good to see you all.
Thank you very much, Prof. And my name is Daniel Jima, a final year student, diagnostic radiography, and I serve as the co-host. Now, this is the most interesting part of the video. I know you have been waiting for this, and this is the question time. So we'll begin with the first question. Prof, please, who is Professor Philip Nate Gorleku?
Well, I am me. I'm a medical doctor, first and foremost, and I have practiced my medical profession quite extensively. Nowadays, most of the young guys, when they start their medical profession right after school, they just go into specialization. And so they can become specialists at a very young age. There's difference with some of us is that we had the opportunity to practice for some time, right from the level of being a house officer, then you go on to become a medical officer, and then I even went on to serve in the deprived area of the Upper West region for about 4 years, and before I decided now to go in for my specialization, and it took another 7 years to accomplish that, but become a PhD holder in radiology and radiation therapy. And so after that, I had always had it in me to be a teacher, a lecturer, and I remember when we were young, my father, who was the headmaster at St. Martin Secondary School, used to always tell us he wants some of us to become teachers, and then we say there is no good reward in teaching. This job, you're destined for poverty. And then he will say, no, you can become big teachers in higher places, not this our kind of bourgeois. That's exactly the bourgeois teaching. So it is in his honor, my late dad, that I realized right after A-levels that I had it in me to teach, and I taught a number of students who have gone on to really do very well at their O-levels and at their A-levels. And even when I was in the Upper West region, I was teaching in the midwifery school and nursing school. I loved that. And while I was a PhD student outside, I used to teach the 4th, 5th, and 6th year medical students outside where I was having my program. So coming back to Ghana, I knew I had it in me that I'll be going into the lecturing field, and lo and behold, I heard UCC had a new medical school, and I applied and joined. I had all the time wanted to go back to KNUST, Kumasi, because I was then working in Konfanachi Teaching Hospital. So this is a short summary of who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Okay. Now, great men have great support. Knowing the demands of your work, the definition of your foundation cannot be complete without a mention of your cherished family. May you kindly tell us about your family?
Yeah. I married in Ukraine. My wife is Ukrainian. She's a dental surgeon, and I remember during my interviews with the former VC, the then Prof. Nana Opokwajima, and the Vice Chancellor, when she got to know that my wife was a dental surgeon, she said that, wow, then we are going to get 2 specialists coming on board to the UCC. You know, so it's like buy one, get one free. So they were very excited to get her to come and support the dental department at UCC. In fact, they then had only one dental surgeon, so she came and she'd be working at the UCC Health Services. We are blessed with 3 children. The first boy is also now a medical doctor, graduated, and is working doing his housemanship. And then the other 2 daughters are following suit. So so it's like that. We have a family of 3 children.
Okay. I guess eventually you'll have a family of medical doctors and specialists.
We'll see.
Okay.
The kids are free to decide where they want to go without much stress.
Okay. Now, we know that you are a role model to several thousands of young academicians and medics in our sub-region and even the world. Please kindly share with us your educational background, all the way from the elementary to the tertiary levels.
Yeah. I grew up in Sawam, Adwejri, to be precise. My dad was then teaching at St. Martin Secondary School, Adwejri, before he rose to become the headmaster. So that was where I started my primary education. When we came to Sawam Adwejri, I was then just about 4 years thereabout. Practically, I grew up there. And my mom is still there. I visit there all the time. So I attended Roman Catholic primary school at Adwejri, being Catholics, and eventually wrote the common entrance examination and went on to do my O-levels at St. Martin Secondary School, Adwejri. After proceeded to have my A-levels education at Pope John's Secondary School and minor seminary. And after A-levels, did my national service. And I applied for government scholarship. Went on to read medicine at Ukraine, who was then the former Soviet Union. the batch that went just a couple of years when it broke up into various independent republics, states. It was then a huge one country made up of several republics. And it was a very good experience. We were a number of Ghanaian students, several of us. I was in Kharkov, a town, and Kharkov produced a number of medical doctors who are doing very well, and likewise several cities all across Ukraine, Russia, and other republics. Because at a point, only in one city, in Kharkov, the Ghanaian population were over 300 students.
Wow.
Reading different programs. So, even the current dean of the medical school at UDS, University of Developed Studies, Tamale, he is also a Kharkov trained Professor Stephen Tabriz, surgeon. So I would say currently we have a lot of Soviet trained specialists working in Ghana, different fields, engineers, pharmacists, so on. So after my medical education, I came back to Ghana, went to Konfanochi to do my housemanship. And after my housemanship, I stayed on to work in Konfanochi as a medical officer for several years, for some time, before I proceeded to, I voluntarily applied to go and have the deprived area practice, because by then Upper West the whole region had just about 2 or 3 doctors. And it was a huge cry that the Upper West, Upper East, Northern regions, and some parts of Brong-Ahafo, some parts of Western, they were designated as deprived areas because there were virtually no medical doctors there. So I volunteered to go and serve there and have exposure there. It was a very big challenge and huge exposure, and I'm happy I did. So after that, I went on to back to Kharkov to do my specialization and PhD. After which I came back to Ghana and applied to the School of Medical Sciences, UCC, to start the Department of Medical Imaging Radiology in this medical school, because by then there was no radiologist to take care of the radiological courses here. So,
okay. We sense the spirit of self-sacrifice in your words, talking about having to volunteer to work in the Upper West, where there were limited medical professionals at that time. Now, we know you to be a senior lecturer in the University of Cape Coast, but we also know that you're a medical doctor and a specialist radiologist by profession. How many years have you been practicing on the field and also lecturing? And which other places have you been doing these?
Well, I joined the University of Cape Coast, where my official role, designation as a lecturer, started in the medical school in the year 2010.
Okay.
Yes, so I've been doing this for some time, and that is it. When I worked several years as the head of medical imaging in the School of Medical Sciences, And then when the university went collegiate, i.e., the university decided to bring a number of schools and departments into a college. So the College of Health and Allied Health Sciences was created, and one of the schools designated in the school of in the college was a School of Allied Health Sciences. So in the School of Allied Health Sciences, by then, the only existing departments was medical laboratory and optometry. So there was the need to populate the School of Allied Health Sciences. Can you imagine the whole school?
Yeah.
So the challenge was how to get academic programs and departments to populate the school. So this was when the idea of how to start the various departments came, and who would champion the curriculum development, going through accreditation, and starting the new young departments that came up. So a number of us took it up and started. So we had a department of imaging technology and sonography, as I designated it, because everyone was then thinking of having department of radiography one, as it was being done in Legon, which was then the only radiography school. Then we had only BSc sonography at Tech, KNUST. But here I propose that we should have a two-pronged approach where we should have radiography and sonography. So that was the inception of the department, and the challenge was to try and draw and write two curricula for the two BSc programs. Yes, so my role in the medical school started dwindling because I was like seconded to the School of Allied Health Sciences to do a lot more work there and a lot more teaching. Because we didn't have enough lecturers, I had to be teaching a lot of courses myself and so on. And so other departments also came up, nutrition, dietetics, and health information management, physician assistant studies, all came up to populate the School of Allied Health Sciences. So this is why someone who belonged to the medical school eventually became the champion of the founding head of department for a program in the School of Allied Health Sciences, because it was like I am the only one that had the competence then to write the curriculum and develop it and mount it successfully. And it has been something that has been very dear to my heart. I wanted to see it succeed. So I was very excited to see the first cohort of students coming out in the year 2020, graduating successfully, and now they are out to help Madagascar improve on the numbers of medical imaging scientists we have in Ghana. Currently, I think the numbers is not tend to write home about the regions of 300 and under 400 specialists in the imaging sciences for a population of over 31, 32 million as we have it now. So
okay,
it's good.
let me state this. I'm part of the second batch of students for the Department of Imaging Technology and Sonography, and I remember when we came, you could sense the pride and enthusiasm with which he had started the department. He found us so dear to his heart. He was calling us calling us his children and all of that. In fact, we enjoyed that moment. We really enjoyed that moment. Now, Prof, we also know that you're a business mogul. You even own a tertiary institution to your name, and that is Clinton University College. How have you coped in combining all these disciplines and still excelled in them all together?
Yes. Nostalgia. I remember years when you guys came to first year, and I was calling you my pickings. Yes, I remember my pickings. Yes. So it's a joy to watch you all grow and to see that you are now in the final year. So that's very good. I had always been a business guy. And so I always tell my students they should always think out of the box and do things to supplement their income. Yes, I tell my medical students, doctors, and that when you have the opportunity, do something else. Don't always rely on your sole profession and income. And I was lucky that this attitude had always been with me right from my secondary school days, when, in fact, even younger, when I was trying to do some poetry, and then target to raise the beds and sell during the Christmas and things. And then when I was in the secondary school, I was always spearheading fanfare, organizing jams, and then already booking for buses to convey students to their various destinations. And you will make some money here and there from those chartering deals. So it was always like that, a leader in business activities. And when I graduated from secondary school during the long vacation, one of my best business I was running was promoting jams, disco. We then called it disco.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I will go and those days, you know, we had spinners. We have groups, they call it the spin. So they'll come and mount their equipment and play music, current music and things. So people will pay gate fee and come. Okay. So if you go and sign a contract with them, and then you show them where you are taking them, you would hire a car, try to go and take their big, you know, speakers and equipment. They had all kind of disco lighting systems, and so you take them there. Then you've already booked the place, you pay for it, and then you get bouncers, guys, to be checking the ticket for you. And so, yes, if people are trying to fight, you know, some people will be fighting over girls and things, breaking bottles, the bouncers, macho guys will come and jack them. I was, well, I used to love doing bodybuilding, so I wasn't that small then. I was quite tall, but you know, those bouncers were solid guys. So you do these things, and sometimes you run at a loss. When it rains, people will not come. But as you have booked the place, and you have to pay. So you always have to pray. So I was always targeting the Decembers. So December was the Hamatan season, so you are sure it will not rain. Sometimes 1st July, the holiday, 6th March, you take, you know, the jams to those places. And it's all, you have to be very crafty and smart. So maybe by the beginning of the year, if let's say you want to go to Abrantier Sport, or you want to go to explosives at Ensawam, or you want to go to Eredex at Kofodia or Sunhun, have the Mambo I knew all the areas. Yes. Yes, I used to dance a lot and do those things. So we had all these spinners, bands, Skyhawks, Willie Chi. Yeah, we have Willie Chi, we have Moondogs.
Okay.
And just to mention a few of the guys, Paul Moore Sounds. And each time these bands will invest in new technologies. You know, they have this lighting that when you are dancing to make it like this. Then the turbo came that will be pumping smoke. I remember the first day, it was when the turbo came to Ghana, it was Skyhawks that brought it. And we took them to Explosive Gardens at some. And around 1 a.m. to when they were the peak of this, and then they started pumping the smoke, and people thought the place was burning. Yes, the place was on fire. So we nearly had a stampede. Yeah, but so I have been doing these business things, and I really loved it. At a point I was selling goats and cattle when I was in the north. Even when I came to UCC, I used to bring cattle to sell. Yes, I was supplying the UCC, the meat.
Okay.
Yes, with cattle. So people like Gloria, they also go far with their business. This thing is good. You can always combine it. Now, how do I combine these things? You need to delegate. You can't do it alone. So you need to get very good guys and support who will be there too. So when you have time, you yourself, you go and support. So I had the opportunity to invest in a lot of infrastructure, which eventually I thought that maybe I should go into full-time academic business to set up the tertiary institution. And I'm happy I did. It was something that I was always thinking about, because you could see the number of people who wants to go into the various health sciences, and there was limited space to accommodate them. And you know, that wasn't good enough. So I thought, why don't I create the opportunity for more people to be trained? And so that was the vision to do that. And so, yes, I spent a lot of time at UCC here doing all the teaching and so on, but the school in Accra also works, and when I get the opportunity, I pass by. I must say that it was a long struggle to get the accreditation for the school and for the various programs, and they are now running. So we are doing very well, and hopefully we want to encourage you all to bring your siblings and friends and recommend cleantaps to whoever wants to. And it's for good reason why we decided to only focus our attention onto the health sciences. You know, we have several universities, private universities in Ghana, but they are all into management and human resource and those things, because it's difficult to set up the health sciences. Okay. And so it's something that I think has been good to have it done and working now in Ghana here. Yes.
We will give you like 30 seconds for you to give us direction to cleantaps, so that in case anyone is watching, the person aspires to have training in any of the health sciences, but then is unable to get admission into any of those top universities, the person can use that as a second chance.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. So Clintops is at, well, it's in between Tema and Ashaman. And actually, around the Sakumono, Lashibi areas, when you are going to Ashaman, Tema, there is a high dual carriage highway. So it is located at Klagon, right opposite the Klagon police station, so you can't miss it. It's by the main roadside. And we offer physician assistant studies, radiography, medical sonography, dietetics, nutrition, medical laboratory, and ophthalmic dispensing. Yes. So these are about the programs that we are running and offering, and you are all very welcome. Our challenge is and vision is to produce very high professionals, very skillful, and better well-trained than UCC students. So UCC we were. Yes.
Okay. That's very fine. Okay.
So we are affiliated to the University of Cape Coast. Our degree is awarded by the University of Cape Coast. They mentor us and take care of all our academic processes. Yeah. So you are all very welcome to Clintops. It can always be a university of choice. Yes.
Sure. So if you're watching us and you were thinking that usually you don't like private institutions because maybe they offer their degrees will be offered by the institution itself, you have to note that the school is affiliated to the University of Cape Coast. So even though you school at Clintops, you still earn the degree from the University of Cape Coast. Now, sir, during your headship, you doubled as the head of the imaging technology of the School of Medicine of the University of Cape Coast. I stand for correction though. You made lots of sacrifices and chalked many achievements. May you kindly share with us some of your memorable challenges and achievements?
Yes, initially it wasn't easy. I was, yes, rightfully doubling as the head for the Department of Medical Imaging, that is radiology in the medical school.
Okay.
Then we started the Department of Imaging Technology and Sonography in the School of Allied Health Sciences to train radiographers and sonographers. So it wasn't easy at all. Huge challenge because I had to be keeping an eye on what is going on in the School of Medical Sciences, their courses. In the School of Medical Sciences, we have modules, and each module there will be imaging component, medical imaging component, radiology. So it has to be taught. Then, of course, the young school too started in the School of Allied Health Sciences. So, and it wasn't easy. I must also say that apart from the challenges, we didn't have lecturers. So I was then alone in the medical school until Dr. Emmanuel Ezi decided to join the medical school. And that was a huge relief, and I'm very grateful to his support because he then could take off the load in the medical school, and then I could concentrate more on the, yes. And then later Dr. Jima also came on board to support in the medical school. Yeah. So among the challenges, I would say that apart from the lecturers numbers, we have to do a lot of overtime teaching. I teach, well, you guys are aware I teach a lot of courses. The University of Cape Coast never paid me extra money for them. So let the university hear that I was not paid extra money for all the overtime I did. But it was for the love of the students. I really wanted the young imaging department to do well and to challenge the premier university radiography school in Legon. So that has always been my motivation to let our students do very well. And so this is why I had the conviction that one of the best ways to achieve that was to infuse the problem-based learning mode of pedagogy into our way of doing things. It's not easy to run the problem-based learning activity because you need to be generating medical scenarios. Problem-based learning had always been what we use in the medical school, and it was relatively easier because everything is couched around medical scenarios. But when you come to medical imaging, you have to see how you can let the students, one, understand the clinical basis of what is happening before they can apply their skills in imaging. Yes. So that was the motivation, and coupled with the non-availability of staff, because problem-based learning has to be supervised and it has to be facilitated by staff. But I must say that we did well. You, the students, did well, bought into the idea, and I'm sure it would have improved your way of reasoning, way of approaching situations. It will teach you how to research and present, teamwork, the Ubuntu spirit will be there, and so on. So that was part of the challenge, but eventually we were able to graduate your seniors, as you know, the first batch. And so it's good, it's heartwarming that we have come this far.
Okay. So as the saying goes, there's always a light at the tunnel. And from what you said, you realize that eventually there was light. Now, please, let us come to your achievements as the first Associate Professor of Radiology in Ghana. Associate Professor, what does it mean, and how did you get here?
Well, in any discipline, in academia, before you can make progress, apart from your clinical work and your teaching, you need to do a lot of research. You need to do a lot of clinical research and publish. And when you publish your findings, your research, and you will have to publish them in reputable journals, and it will be peer reviewed by other experienced people, and then the journal can decide to say your work is rubbish or is good, or you must do this, or challenge you that it doesn't make sense, or this or that, reject it. There are disappointments and successes, and it's a process where you have to start. If you're a lecturer, you do work to get you to senior lecturer, then you continue to get you to associate professor before full professorship. Yes. So it's a whole lot of work which you need to be very, very dedicated to, because you are working, teaching, practicing, and then you make time for academic work. So it gives you exposure in academic world. There are renowned platforms where your work will be seen on Google Scholar, on ResearchGate, on Web of Science, and then all these renowned journals too. People will Google your work, they will see, And when they Google your name, they'll see your publications, they see what you have done, contribution to science and knowledge. And I realized that radiology in Ghana there was that vacuum that we didn't have any professor in the field, and then there was very few research work being done and published. So there was that gap. And it was because it's not easy. It takes a lot of work. And me doing everything here, there. But self-discipline is key. Yeah, you need to collaborate and you need to be focused and constantly doing that, because if you don't, you can't get results. That's why it doesn't come easy for people to become professors. You need to work a lot and publish a lot of materials all the way before you can get to where you want to go to. So, it's a non-stop work. So I remember I instituted myself into a certain regime where I always at least do 2 or 3 hours of research work every day.
Wonderful.
Yes, you don't deprive yourself of sleep and wake up and do. Yeah, I was always working at night though. So wake up, do the work, and then come for lectures. And it was always a cycle. Then
Wonderful.
So yes, sometimes you see that you even have edema of the feet, all your feet will be swollen because you are sitting for long hours and so on. But hard work pays. So I must say that you are all encouraged, those of you who want to get into academia eventually, it starts from when you graduate, after your internship and you are working. You start thinking about what you do for your masters. You do an MPhil program. And then you're lucky you try and get a PhD program. Then you are eligible to already go into academia and start it. And while you are doing the masters, you will learn how to do research, publish. You people, you do a bit already from your project work. So you have a bit of idea. But writing and publishing scientific work is a bit, you will learn how to do it. And then you grow into it. After PhD, you become a lecturer. So you start publishing, working. And the ultimate should be to work very hard, to have several publications before you can become a professor. So it's very tight.
In a few minutes, we've seen how the scope of work that you have to do, and then the other attributes that you have to possess, self-discipline, depriving yourself of sleep and all of that. So we must say that he has really done great hard work, and then he deserves this particular promotion. Now let's go to the funny aspect of the whole interview. Do heroes play? Please, what is your hobby, and how do you spend your holidays?
Well, I try to make time to play and get along. Right from my days when I was here, I used to do a lot of footballing. I had a football club in Kumasi.
Oh, wow.
And most of the young guys that I was then championing, they still contact me here. One is even a chief now, a trader chief. He always calling me, asking me to come so that he give me some land there. Enough and that to be there. So I enjoy those things. And as I said, from the days of my secondary school, right, I love music. There's no music I don't know. Anything, yes. So those days, even when we were in Kharkov, I was one of the guys that used to spin and do those things. I had a collection of soul because I was promoting disco and those things, yes. But you see, you have to have a fine balance about how to discipline yourself academically and then doing those things. If you're not careful, you will go off. You can't do well academically. So you have to learn how to multitask. I can multitask. Yes, thank God, that is something I realized that I can do. So I can be doing this and monitoring and doing that and doing that, and monitoring my businesses, and I have a number of businesses.
Okay.
So apart from printer, so you can follow what is happening, make time for academic work, make time to lecture, teach. I'm always here. So all along, my own siblings always saw me as a businessman, so they were surprised that I can be academic. Yes, when my promotion came now, so you are you. Because you go and you don't tell them that, hey, I'm working to become a professor. I'm working, no. But I just told them that, oh, I'm not a professor.
You came as a shock.
Because they see me that here, I'm there, Clinton's this business, this, that. Yes, you have to be able to multitask. So I made time for fun. I'm a strong Arsenal. Those days I was a fanatic that sometimes I don't even eat. Yes, but I was able to grow over it, and so I watch Arsenal now for fun. But my football, I don't play with it. I'm always, or make time always to watch my football, all the leagues, especially English Premier League, and so. Wow. I learned to have fun. Yes,
it's good.
Yes,
it's
to
good.
make time for everything. And once I was the church president for Akali's church here, UCC, for 4 years. I made time for church activities, meetings, and what have you. So you see, we come here everywhere, yes.
Okay.
It's now that my dancing skills have gone up. The dancing people have been dancing. I really, it's fascinating. I've been watching, say, those days. But I can't dance some, so once in a while I try to learn. My daughters, they try to show me some moves, and then I try, but it looks like I'm not that flexible. So yeah, I try to have fun. It's good.
Okay. Amidst all this stress, it's very necessary.
Yes,
you have
fun.
You
have to be able to multitask.
Okay. You have been known sometimes as Professor Calculus. Is that your nickname, and how did it come about?
Wow. Where did you dig that one?
This was some extensive research.
Yes. My mates had always called me Professor Calculus because, when you are in the secondary school, one of the very difficult
topics in elective maths.
Yes. Topics was calculus. And for some reason, I was very good in calculus, and I designed a way of using calculus to solve all problems. So even in elective math, modern maths, we were calling the modern core maths and modern, yes. I was using calculus, so you know how you solve core maths things is different
from elective maths, yes.
But you can apply it.
Yeah.
So I was always applying it.
Okay.
So the maths teacher would come and say that you 0. I said, he said you got all the answers, but your working is not correct. We are not doing add maths here. We call it additional modern mathematics. Yes. Additional modern mathematics. So my mates were then calling me calculus. I was good.
Oh, okay.
So I applied calculus in everything. In physics, I always find the calculus, the link, and apply it. And in fact, if you do that, there's nothing you can solve. Yes, you can really. Yeah, so I really loved mathematics.
Okay, that's very interesting.
But eventually, when I went to a sixth form, I was reading biology because I wanted to go into the health sciences. medical sciences. So I did physics, chemistry, biology, not mathematics. And that was the debate because they wanted me to.
Rather pursue that interest.
Yes, but I was all round. I had good grades in maths and biology, so I had a level too.
Choose either side you want to go.
Yes, and by then you could still read medicine with maths.
Okay.
Yes, but it was skewed more towards biology. If a math student and a biology student, they will pick the biology student. So that was my dilemma. So then some will say, if you do math too, then you can branch it to any. So, and in fact, my late dad wanted me to go into engineering because I like fidgeting with things. When I was young, anytime my older siblings will bring anything, before they come, I've opened it. If it's a new radio, it's a new, like this one, I'll just unscrew it and trying to. So I started repairing things.
Okay.
I was messy. I could just tamper with everything. You know this thing that they used to soldering machine, the hot one, then you use lead.
Yeah.
So I would go, I had a guy, became my friend. I'll go and be studying how he's repairing people's radio, people's TV and things. You know, they use this thing.
Yeah.
Then the diodes, they'll be soldering them. So I love those things. So I could repair almost a lot of things. So when there's something, I could change switch. I would just go and then buy it. Then I was studying.
Check how it is connected and then.
So I had a tester.
Okay.
I was always buying tools. Yes.
I
So
think
that wanted me to do, yes. And up to now, if you come, there is no tool I don't have. Yes, when carpenters come to me, they are surprised. I have almost everything. My car mechanic.
Almost everything.
Yes. Electricity. I have this, I have this, I have that. So I love those things. I love those things. But eventually I went into medical science.
Okay, that's very interesting. I love this particular section. Indeed, this is the story of a hero and a living legend. And I'm most convinced that as many as you are, as many of you as are watching us, are inspired by the sharing of the great life of Professor Philip Nate Gorleku. This is the very last question for the day. Please, what do you have for us, the young ones who look up to you?
Hey, did you say living legend? Nowadays, I have a friend now, our, what should I say? Our play terminology living. You know, there's this guy, yes, he talks and so, and now I've fallen in love with him so much because all the things he talks about is so practical. So when he sees me, say, hey, living legend, say, oh, Akweyala. Then I'll say, oh, Ebubroko. Then he also respond. You know, those things that so I say, you see, that's a Ghanaian attitude. Then I'll tell him, no, we should not do that. We should learn to fix problems and do things better. So it cannot be Akweyala, it cannot be Famenyame. You have to solve problems. That's where you make progress. So I think you have even answered. My advice to you is that we should not be that Kweku Chase type Ghanaian living legend, Akweyala, you should solve problems. Hard work pays. Hard work pays. If you work hard, why? I work hard, and I've been blessed. So I'm happy. Yes, I work hard, and right from my Konfanochi days, when I was a young medical officer, I was always having money. Our salary was bad, but I always had money because I do the right things. Yes. A young doctor's first thing they think about is maybe to buy a private car. My first car that I bought was a taxi.
So you're using it for side?
Yes. So the driver comes to pick me, and then you go and work and come and do sales.
Wow.
What do I need a private car for? So as I was working with the taxi, I was then planning that the taxi will buy me my private car, and it will still be there. Yes, so the guy was good. I told him that, and I eventually dashed it to him.
Wow.
It was so good, and so on. So you have to always be innovative, work hard. All of you work hard, and think out of the box. Now, don't ever think that you can make money in a government setup. When you are employed by government, you are privileged. So it's like you have a bread. That is your bread. Then you do other private things. That is your margarine. So you can use your margarine to plaster your bread and eat, and you'll be fine. If something happens to your margarine, your private thing, you can always fall on the bread. You eat and drink water, you can sleep. Can you eat margarine?
No.
So that is where the difference is. If you learn this thing, you will always succeed. You work and work conscientiously because you are dealing with human lives. Work for God and country. But if you want to make money, you'll be extorting money from patients. You'll be doing kululu. You do examination. You don't want them to pay. Before you see, you are in trouble with authorities because they say you are doing what? You are doing kululu, extra work. You image patient, you keep the money. People who have always got that mentality, they never progress. So rely on your if you work well, patient will even dash you money. Be nice with them. And then when you are comfortable, because you have margarine coming, think and do. If you can do very good businesses, you will never ever lose. As long as you are not losing, you are making some profit. Continue doing it. If you run at a loss, that means you didn't plan well. You didn't get maybe a good person to take care of it for you. Always you will need someone. Let relatives stay out of your business. They will collapse it for you. Relatives. That's the business, the advice I'll give you. Relatives are not good. Get somebody neutral so that you can be professional with the person. And then you get some money, you can give some to your relatives. When they come, they say, oh, now they say me idea. They will collapse your business for you. So I don't let relatives near me for any business whatsoever. Never. Because when you are hard with them, people go, oh, wow, near and fashion or power chow, they will chop your money. Yes, I learned this. They had one cousin of mine messed up my business. So I don't let relatives near me. Yes. So devise different ways. When you get some money, first think of investing in something. Anything. Maybe somebody has got the skills to do what do you call it? To do some poultry for you. You do the estimates. Then you talk to some veterinary officer who will be showing you the medicine. You buy 100 beds within 3 months. You sell. You get some 2,000 from there. You do something this year. You do some more here. You see, there are a lot of people. They need small capital to do some work. So you go into things. Okay, me support too.
Have an agreement with the person.
Exactly. So as long as you're not running at a loss, you can always do. So always think out of the box, and it helps. It helps. So for Gloria, it's good that she's business minded. All of you must be business minded and be academic at the same time. When you finish and you are working, you don't want to go into academia. Fair enough. You work, but still be business-minded. Do something else. And it's always good to do something different apart from what you are doing so that you have diversity. People always think that maybe I should have some other locum. Go ahead, be doing locum. You will be tired. You from here now, you're going to work here again. But if you have a business that you don't need your own energy there, all you do is you'll be checking on it, saying, how is it, this, that. So your leisure time, you are monitoring the business on phone and so on. You can watch, sometimes on video, I can watch the birds, the video, the portrait for the so this is all fine. You see. So that is how you should be doing it. And sometimes you see it doesn't take big capital to set up some business. So then you start growing it. You make sacrifices first. Then when you are enjoying, you are driving a big car, people don't understand. But when you, yes. So that is how it goes. There are a lot of things that you need to. So it's thinking about what to do first. Somebody will get money, all he's thinking about first is how to buy a land. You put your money in land, it has locked. You start building, it has locked. Yes, I said, I don't have my own house. I'm renting. He said, I'm a fan of clean house. I've invested so much there, but I don't have my own house because that one first. By the time I'm ready, it's now I've started small, but at my own pace, leisure. Because if you go and lock the money in your house, now if you do your house business, the business will be doing the house for you. And then you can go and be inside. So you see how it works?
Yeah.
So somebody will be staying in his own house now. Fine. But I'm not staying in my own house. So that's how it is. That's but I have so many investment, and then at small, you do what you want to do. So first things first, as I my young doctor days, I didn't buy a private car first. I bought a taxi first. I painted it taxi. So when I need it, I said, family, then I'll pay him fuel. I'll buy him fuel. So the Bible sales. You won't say that, oh, you use me. You understand? So you manage the business efficiently. Yes, and you can all do that as long as you go to school. Read, check me. I'm always researching. And I love new things. So you always look for new things. Don't take unnecessary. There's nothing. When men's gold came, people are chasing them. You won't get me. I've always been like that because I have that principle that money doesn't come easy. You have to work for it. So if it doesn't make sense to me, I say, where is he getting that money that will be giving me plenty like that? No, it doesn't work. No way. Yes. So that is it. Yeah.
That's a very deep advice, and I really enjoyed that advice. You all try to put bits and pieces together, then apply them as and when there is a need for them. All too soon, we've come to the end of the interview. It's so much. In fact, it's very sad that I'm leaving here. I wish we could talk for more, because it has been a very fruitful session. But first of all, we want to thank you very much, Professor, for having time out of your busy schedule to meet with your children.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Viewers, thank you very much for joining us this time. And I also want to state that we are extending our thanks to all the people in the crew, our cameraman, our president, and all the other observers as well. We thank you very much for making time out of your clinical period to join us this time. Until we meet next time, goodbye for now.